In the bustling heart of a Karnataka railway station, a humble fruit seller named Abdul Karim Telgi scales train carriages to secure a living. Armed with a commerce degree, but choked by crippling poverty, Telgi dreams of a life far beyond the railway tracks. His fortunes shift when he meets a traveler who notices his degree and invites him to Mumbai for work. Telgi's home conditions are dire, so he sets out to improve them. In Mumbai, he meets Sheikh, who is running a struggling guest house. Telgi quickly takes charge, single-handedly turning the business around. In the process, he earns a good salary, deep respect, and falls in love with Sheik's daughter at first sight. Soon, they are married. Yet Telgi's dreams do not stop at a guest house. Driven by a hunger for wealth, he leaves for the Gulf, spending 7 long years earning decent money. But his heart belongs to Mumbai, and he returns. He begins a small-time criminal hustle, creating fake certificates and documents for poor people desperate to migrate to the UAE and the Gulf for labor. The law catches up quickly, and the police arrest Telgi for forgery. Inside the unforgiving walls of prison, Telgi forms an alliance with an inmate named Kaushal. Recognizing Telgi's sharp mind, Sheikh hires a lawyer to secure his release on bail. Now free, Telgi needs to clear his name from the police records to continue working. Following Kaushal's advice, he meets a lawyer named Ganesh Kamble. Telgi uses his immense persuasive charm, manipulating Kamble into handling his case completely for free by claiming that taking his case today will attract hundreds of similar clients tomorrow, making the lawyer rich. Kamble falls for the trap and agrees. When Kaushal learns that Telgi pulled this off for free, he recognizes his genius and invites Telgi to join his business, uttering the words, "Come with me, I'll show you why Mumbai is called the City of Dreams." Kaushal introduces Telgi to the business of dead share certificates. They extract adhesive tax stamps from discarded corporate certificates, treat them with chemicals to clean them, and sell them to stock market brokers at a steep discount. However, they face brutal competition. A rival crew has established a corrupt connection inside the old customs house, easily obtaining a massive supply of these adhesive stamps. Telgi and Kaushal realize they must disrupt their competitor's supply line, but just as they arrive at the customs house to make arrangements with a corrupt employee, their rivals ambush them. A brutal beating ensues. Yet, amidst the flying punches, Telgi's sharp eyes lock onto a bizarre sight: a man meticulously stealing sheets of paper while leaving the highly valued adhesive stamps completely unattended. The next day, Telgi returns to the customs employee to investigate. The worker explains that adhesive stamps are nothing compared to what he saw: official government stamp paper. The government sells this paper to earn a staggering 330 billion rupees. It is the invisible bloodline of the nation, required for every sale deed, will, property transaction, and corporate contract. Instantly, Telgi and Kaushal plot their entry into the stamp paper business. This authentic paper is produced under heavy armed guard at the security press in Nashik and transported to Mumbai via rail before national distribution. Telgi and Kaushal realize they need to steal the paper during transit. They spend days at the Mumbai railway station observing the security protocols. They identify an assistant station master and use their deceptive charm to bring him into the conspiracy. Telgi designs the heist so that no one will notice the theft. They will enter a moving train, unlock the vault, swap the authentic stamp papers with meticulous counterfeits, and replace the government seal, all within a tight 6-minute window. To print the fakes, they commission a master artist to etch flawless printing plates, running a nocturnal press in a closed facility. Telgi emphasizes that their fake paper must blend seamlessly into the ocean of real government stock. If it is isolated, they will be caught immediately. However, their massive inventory stalls. They take the printed stamps to lawyer Ganesh Campbell, only to learn a devastating truth: ordinary lawyers only require 4 to 5 stamp papers a month. The massive corporate firms hold the highest demand, but Telgi cannot sell to them because he lacks an official, government-issued vendor license. With 0 buyers and the police launching frequent, aggressive raids in their neighborhood, tension rises. Telgi tries to win the police over by funding community relations, and he attempts to secure a license by befriending and bribing a local MLA. The plan fails, and the financial drainage is massive. Kaushal panics, realizing that the money Telgi is burning belongs to both of them. A bitter, tearful argument erupts. Kaushal accuses Telgi of reckless greed and permanently distances himself from the operation, leaving Telgi entirely on his own. Fueled by raw defiance and refusing to chase after Kaushal, Telgi goes back to the MLA alone. With elections looming, Telgi delivers a ruthless ultimatum. Elections are coming, and you cannot win alone. Get me my license, and I will ensure you never run short of money. The MLA takes him to the party head office, where Telgi faces a powerful bureaucrat named Garima Talpade. Using his relentless persuasive charm, Telgi single-handedly secures his prized stamp paper vendor license. Operating entirely independently from Kaushal, Telgi expands the business alone, bringing his brother Salim on board to handle operations. Together, they execute the train swaps daily, liquidating millions in counterfeit paper to major corporate entities. Telgi prints absolute mountains of money, distributing small payouts to everyone in the grid to maintain total compliance, ensuring his system runs perfectly while fulfilling his family's dreams. He becomes the undisputed king of a compromised system. Following the elections, a fiercely honest politician named Basav takes office, breathing down the necks of corrupt departments. The empire cracks when a bitter estate feud erupts between two wealthy brothers from a prominent family regarding their late father's will. With Telgi's resources, one brother creates a forged, backdated gift deed alleged to be 6 years old. But when this document is presented in court, the opposing legal team, led by Garima Talpade, exposes a fatal mathematical anomaly. The 6-year-old gift deed was printed on stamp paper issued by a vendor who only received his official license a single year prior. The blame falls squarely on Telgi. The court revokes his license and orders his immediate jail time. Under intense pressure from Garima and the state assembly, the police are forced to ignore their bribes and drag Telgi away in front of his weeping family. Inside the jail cell, Telgi meets a man who suggests they could work together upon release. However, the moment he is out on bail, Shaukat Bai confronts him, deeply ashamed of the public disgrace, and forbids Telgi from ever returning to his daughter and wife, stating they will manage on their own. Ignoring the warning, Telgi visits his family before plotting his next move. Unable to resume the train thefts without a license, he reconnects with his old prison contact, who takes him to Nashik. There, he meets two workers from the Nashik security press, who offer a small-time scheme. They will intentionally mislabel high-quality paper as rejected, smuggle it out, and sell it. Telgi rejects the petty hustle. He wants something monumental. Telgi attends a public government auction at the Nashik printing press, where decommissioned machinery parts are sold. A brilliant plan strikes him. He will buy the original printing machinery components and print the stamp papers himself. To pull it off, he must corrupt Madhusudan Mishra, the chief officer of the press who supervises the destruction and sale of machinery alongside government auditors. Telgi attempts to bribe Mishra with expensive gifts, but the fiercely honest officer throws him out of his office. Seeking calculated revenge, Telgi puts his own family home up as collateral to secretly fund a high-level political promotion from Mishra. He forces the officer to face a sickening reality. The prestigious rank Mishra spent 10 dedicated, honest years chasing was purchased by a criminal in just 48 hours. His morals completely shattered, Mishra joins Telgi's syndicate, realizing honesty yields nothing. Mishra identifies a pristine printing press and intentionally labels it as faulty. Telgi deploys 5 different associates to purchase the separate machinery parts under 5 distinct shadow company names during the public auction. To secure the most crucial components, the original printing plates, Mishra replaces them with fakes and destroys the counterfeits in front of the government auditor, documenting that the official plates have been cut. All the equipment is smuggled and assembled at Telgi's private press in Mumbai. With Mishra's help, they acquire the specialized government ink and paper. Telgi watches his counterfeit stamp papers roll off the press, proudly declaring that a father has been born at his home. He obtains licenses under his associates' names, launching massive operations that generate enough cash to fill an entire room. They expand into Karnataka, building deep friendships with ministers and positioning his brother Salim as a powerful politician. In 1988, Shaukat Bai passes away. Driven to maximize profits, Telgi takes his most aggressive step yet. He coordinates with Madhusudan Mishra to shut down the authentic Nashik security press under the pretext of an emergency maintenance block. This artificially starves the national market, skyrocketing the demand for Telgi's printed paper. He purchases additional machines, involving all his associates, but internal chaos begins. A close colleague named Suleiman, who handles distribution, begins secretly selling stamp papers on his own to make extra cash. When Telgi uncovers the theft, an explosive argument erupts. Suleiman defiantly retorts that taking a spoonful from the ocean makes no difference. Blinded by a psychotic rage, Telgi brutally beats Suleiman on the warehouse floor, accidentally killing him. The immense guilt and paranoia take a heavy toll on Telgi's health, and a doctor diagnoses him with dangerously high blood pressure. Seeking an escape from the stress, Telgi travels to Karnataka to celebrate his brother Salim's election as an MLA. That night, at a lavish Mumbai dance bar, his unchecked ego triggers a reckless bidding war with a rival patron over a beautiful dancer. Ignoring Salim's frantic warnings, an intoxicated Telgi showers the club with an astronomical 9 million rupees in a single evening. The news of this massive wealth spreads like wildfire. Realizing the true magnitude of Telgi's hidden billions, his entire network of corrupt police officers, associates, and politicians turn on him, aggressively demanding massive financial payouts to keep his secret. His meticulously constructed fortress begins to crumble from within. To keep his operations running, Telgi pays off everyone according to their demands, but he surreptitiously records every single phone call, building a cache of blackmail leverage. Concurrently, a violent extremist faction kidnaps a beloved superstar from Karnataka, demanding a massive 150 million rupee ransom from the state. Sensing Telgi's boundless wealth, the syndicate pressures him to fund the government's payout to protect the superstar and prevent public rioting. Telgi initially refuses, demanding a high-level political seat for his brother Salim in exchange for the cash. This bold demand angers the local authorities, creating a dangerous enmity. Amidst the chaos, Telgi's disgusted wife discovers the depth of his criminal rot, abandoning him and taking their daughter. Overwhelmed by stress, Telgi collapses unconscious on a public street. Seizing the opportunity, the Karnataka government strikes back, impounding his transit trucks. Waking up in a hospital bed, a broken Telgi surrenders to the mounting pressure, delivering 150 million rupees in raw cash to secure the superstar's release and buy back the government's favor. But his medical relief is short-lived. His physician delivers a devastating diagnosis. Telgi has tested positive for HIV. Believing he was poisoned, Telgi launches a furious assault against the bar dancer, only to discover she is medically clean, forcing him to face his own reckless lifestyle. Seeking spiritual redemption, he reunites with his fragile family, embarking on a pilgrimage to a holy shrine in Ajmer. A fiercely independent police inspector, Surya Pratap, is handed the case files by an honest whistleblower. Despite working under a deeply compromised administration that explicitly orders him to slow-walk the investigation, Surya refuses to accept bribes from Telgi's legal defense. Tracking the stamp papers recovered from Telgi's impounded trucks, Surya proves their illegality and traces the paper trail straight to the clandestine Mumbai printing press. Just as a corrupt judiciary prepares to grant Telgi bail, Surya storms into the courtroom. He presents 2 identical stamp papers to the judge, one from the Nashik press and one from Telgi's private factory, exposing a monumental 2 billion rupee fraud. The bail is instantly denied. Tapping Telgi's frantic prison calls to corrupt ministers, Surya subjects the kingpin to relentless, sleepless interrogations. Desperate to escape Surya's jurisdiction, a hallucinating Telgi deliberately confesses to the forgotten murder of Suleiman, knowing the Mumbai police will be legally forced to transfer him back to his familiar stomping grounds. Back in Mumbai, a heavily compromised local police department treats Telgi like royalty, allowing him to leave his cell to host lavish parties at his mansion and keep his counterfeit presses running. The flagrant corruption forces the state assembly to appoint an independent investigation squad, led by a seemingly ineffective officer named Jai Singh. The corrupt elite believe they have created a toothless tiger, but Jai Singh immediately allies with Inspector Surya. Surya hands over 7 months of classified data, revealing that Telgi's scam is actually worth a mind-blowing 300 billion rupees. Jai Singh's squad aggressively targets the Nashik press, exposing Madhusudan Mishra's network of luxury bribes. Sensing a trap, the compromised State Department orders Jai Singh to cease his activities. Recognizing they cannot find justice in Mumbai, Jai Singh and Surya execute a daring, unsanctioned operation, abducting Telgi from his luxury residence and smuggling him onto a train bound for Karnataka. Jai Singh leaks his comprehensive investigative report directly to an investigative journalist, Sanjay Singh. The subsequent media broadcast shocks the nation, splashing the names of every bought politician, police commissioner, and minister across the headlines. Left with no choice but to save their own skins, Telgi's political allies abandon him entirely. High court orders grant Jai Singh's squad absolute authority, resulting in the mass arrest of high-ranking officials and police chiefs across the state. To seal the case, Surya's team subjects Telgi to a public narco-analysis test, where the heavily sedated kingpin names every corrupt politician on a live broadcast. While Telgi's mother passes away from the sheer grief of the scandal, the political elite unite to force the case into the hands of the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, aiming to strip Surya and Jai Singh of their jurisdiction. In a final, emotionally charged meeting in the court corridors, Telgi's grieving wife delivers a tearful ultimatum, begging him to confess and abandon his wicked empire for the sake of their daughter's future. Faced with the final wish of the woman he loves, the billionaire counterfeiter chooses absolute ruin. He stands before the supreme judge, deliberately strips away his blackmailed recordings, destroys his remaining evidence, and takes the entire monumental blame squarely on his own shoulders, completely shielding the remaining political elite just to secure peace for his family. 10 years later, a broken Telgi dies a lonely death inside a prison cell. Honoring his memory, his widow completely disavows his illegal empire, donating every single piece of his multi-billion rupee property to the state, leaving the name Telgi as nothing more than a haunting ghost in the machinery of the nation. This movie ends here. If you enjoyed this movie explanation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.